How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Town of Salem 2. In this video, we'll be making a tier list on all the roles in the game. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Now, this tier list is going to be based off of power levels and also how fun the role is. It's going to be a combination of both. I'm curious to see how different it's going to be compared to the first one we made when the game was still in alpha and it was still like sort of first impressions. So starting off with the Admirer. Now, originally, I had it right here in C tier, but honestly, I don't think it's that bad anymore. Now you propose to someone at nighttime, it's anonymous. If they accept, and their town, they find out who you are. You find out who they are. And then you have the ability to care for them at night and prevent them from dying. Now, granted, if you die, they die. But sometimes the person you can chain up with is a town protect and they can be on you and you can be on them and you can survive for a long time. Also, when you propose to someone, even if they reject, let's say you propose to a Jailor and the Jailor doesn't want a lifelink with you, they still know that you're the Admirer. So they can reject, but now you're confirmed. Another thing that you can do as the Admirer is that you have the ability to whisper to people who are confirmed. And you can tell them, hey, I'm going to link up with X. And if I stop talking, then that person is evil. Go after him tomorrow. And if you're confirmed or if town trusts you, then you can just make that play and get someone lynched or executed for free. So I would say Admirer is probably B tier this time round. Next up, we've got the Amnesiac. Now, the difference of this role compared to a few patches ago is that the Amni no longer gives a notification to everyone telling them that an Amni has transformed into a particular role. So it's easier to fake claim this, and less people trust you. It's kind of trash. I would put this in F tier. I would not want to be the Amnesiac. Now, the Arsonist is still a strong role, but I don't think it belongs in S+ like it used to. And it's hard to put my finger on why, but I think it's because overall, Town of Salem 2 games are quicker, and because the games go quicker, you have less time to work. People are more aggressive. There are day abilities that can take you out. You have the Neutral Apocalypse faction, which can come after you. From my experience, Arsonists generally end up getting screwed over because they needed one extra night or two extra nights, and town just found them in the end. Or the Coven found them. Arsonists don't win that often. And sometimes you need the speed in order to win. Arsonists are the slowest type of neutral killing. So I would put them in probably A tier. They don't scare me like they used to. Next up, we've got the Baker. The Baker hands out bread. Nothing more, nothing less. F tier. It is half a roll. Next, we've got the Berserker. The Berserker is pretty much the Juggernaut from TOS 1. It is pretty damn weak. Probably belongs in C tier. You can't kill Night 1. You kill very slowly. It's kind of just trash. The only reason I put it in C tier is because at least you get to choose who to kill. Like the Coven, if they've got a Ritualist and they figure out who you are, you're getting sniped. You're not much of a threat. The Werewolf is going to be stronger than you. The Serial Killer can rampage you. Town, if they found you, you're pretty much toast. Getting rollblocked absolutely destroys you. Getting jailed destroys you. So I'd put it in C tier. And honestly, I'm tempted to put it in D tier too, but I feel like that's kind of wrong. Now, not much can be said about the Bodyguard. The BG is the BG. Everyone knows how it works. It's not a very fun role. Once you die, I mean, that's kind of over. You're going to be sitting in the graveyard watching everything unfold. You can form a town protect chain with a Cleric, keeping you alive, but that's not always going to happen. Individually, the role is not very fun to play. This time round, I would put it in D tier. I don't like being the Bodyguard, and I don't think anyone likes being the Bodyguard, really. But it's not an absolute trash role like these two. Like, even Amni I'd put in D. Like, Baker does less than an Amni, let's be real. Cleric is actually a bit more fun than the BG. I would put it in C tier. It's a very weak claim. People don't trust Cleric claims. But, you know, Cleric is Cleric. Next, we've got the Conjuror. Now, the Conjuror is really good. And it is a big reason why people are afraid of claiming Jailor outright. Or revealing as the mayor. Or just outright revealing that they're a town power. Because if you do that, there is a big chance you get nuked immediately. I've done it. I've had it done to me. As Jester, I've claimed town power and I've gotten nuked immediately. I would put it in S tier. It's not quite S+, but Conjurer is great. And also, there are many times that you can hold on to your power. And if town underestimates and they think they've still got time, you can very quickly turn the tides before they even have a chance to react. Just instantly take out one of their numbers. Hexmaster Conjurer combo is insane. You can conjure the last dude who's not hexed to just very easily win. Next up, we've got the Coroner. Coroner is trash, and it needs to be changed. Reason being is because the Coroner does the exact same thing that the Investigator does, but worse. And there are also times when no one dies night one, and then as a Coroner, you're just sitting there, you can't do anything. You're not going to be useful for a very long time. Honestly, F. Coroner needs to be changed. It stinks. Next up, we've got the Coven Leader. The Coven Leader is extremely powerful, and it's because their ability is insane. Starting from night one, you can toggle on powerful attack, losing your basic defense, but just plowing through everyone. You can kill the Berserker night one. You can kill the Baker night one. The neutral apocalypses hate you. The neutral killings hate you. The Doomsayer hates you. Anything with immunity hates you. I'd have to put it in S tier because having a Coven Leader on your team is so much value. But still not S plus because S plus belongs to the cream of the crop. Next, we've got Crusader. I prefer being a Crusader over the Cleric and the BG because the Crus can get confirmed easier because you're pretty likely to kill someone even on night one, even if it's a townie. And then two, you know, killing people is fun. Who's killing who? And you don't die for doing it. The one thing that kind of sucks about the Crus is you can't do anything against anything with defense. You're kind of on the back foot. So I'd put it in C tier. I don't mind being a Crus. I prefer it over Cleric and BG. And people trust the Crus claim. It's just easier to confirm yourself. Next up, we got the Cursed Soul. F tier. Roll sucks. And honestly, I've only played it like 3 times. I don't know how popular the mode is, but I don't like being the Cursed Soul. And by the way, if the game ends with you having this role, you lose. So yeah, I don't think anyone really would like Cursed Soul. It is funny to switch roles with people, but trash. Next, we've got Death. Now, Death itself as a role is S+. It has to be S+. Because as soon as Death pops out, you have to find them. If you don't find them, you will lose. Everyone has to change their behavior completely. Evils start popping out. I'm the Coven Leader. I'm the Hexmaster. I'm whoever. I'm the Witch. This is who I am. But Death is this person. And it's one of the only roles that makes people do that. People just outright start saying, Coven, tell us who Death is. We're gonna lose. Tell us who they are. So Death goes S+ individually. Like in Town of Salem 1, when there was a pestilence coming out, people would freak. This is like that's times 10. Deputy belongs in S. No higher than S. Because once you've fired your shot, you become a potato. Every time I roll Deputy, I always get this fantasy that I'm just going to do this sick read on someone. They're not going to be an obvious evil, but I'm just going to read between the lines and see it. And I'm just going to shoot them in between everyone. And then we're going to have another chance to vote someone up that day. And it's just going to be incredible. And every time I think that's going to happen, what really ends up happening is on day 2, someone acts blatantly evil. Blatantly evil. Town does not listen and does not try to hang that person. So then I get pissed off and go, fine, let me just end it here. And then I pull out the weapon and shoot him. And then I'm a potato for the rest of the game. Also, one thing I like about Deputy is it directly affects people's ability to go full psycho. A Jester can't go full psycho. Evils can't be blatantly evil unless they're sure there's no Deputy, because they will get shot. S tier. Next, we've got the Doomsayer. Now, Doomsayer originally I had in S+. It was my favorite role in the game. That, however, is no longer the case. And it's because Doomsayer got nerfed. Doomsayer cannot doom people who are town investigatives. And that is actually a perfect nerf. It balanced, I mean, fair enough, but cannot be an S+. I had a game as the Doomsayer where there was like 5, 6 town investigatives, and there was like 4 people left, and I had no viable targets. So I was quite literally sitting there doing nothing, and it was the worst feeling ever. I couldn't guess anyone. It was not enough viable roles. Too many town investigatives. Now, one suggestion that I don't think everyone will agree with, and by the way, I'm heavily biased, is that maybe if the Doomsayer runs out of viable targets, they turn into a Jester. The same way the X would turn into a Jester back in the original game. That's just One of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about that one. But, dude, when you sit there doing nothing as a Doom, it sucks badly. It's still, you know, a decent role. Honestly, I'll put it in C tier. But then again, like, would I rather be a Crusader or Doom? I think I'd rather be a Doom. Equal with Admirer. Next, we've got the Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is probably the weakest Coven role, especially when you don't have a Voodoo Master to pair it with. Because all that happens is, you Dreamweave someone, and if their town, they have the chance of turning insane. They're going to come out on day 2 and say, hey, I've been Dreamwoven. Sometimes the townie that you Dreamwove is not a role that would have had that big of an impact anyway. Like, what if I Dreamweave the Coroner? Ooh, big deal. Sometimes, however, Dreamweaver is devastating because you can make a mayor turn insane. Now they can't reveal. You can make a deputy turn insane. Now they can't shoot. You can make vigilantes shoot the wrong people, but that's not always going to happen. There's a big chance they can be saved, easily countered. If you don't have the Voodoo Master to shut the person up, you're going to be pretty weak. So Dreamweaver is not a role that I particularly enjoy either. I'll put it in D. Next up, we've got the Enchanter. Now, Enchanter is actually pretty decent. You have the ability to change people's roles and wills upon killing them, and you can frame people. This time around, I think I'd put it in A tier. Enchanting people counters the Psychic. Enchanting people counters the Seer, which are the 2 strongest town investigatives. And let me tell you something. It is damn near uncounterable when you roll Psychic and an enchanted person appears on your thing. I would put this in A tier. It's a very good roll. Next up, we've got the Executioner. Now, the Executioner originally had the ability to switch their targets every single night. You could just switch back and forth, pick the target that was getting pushed the most, and then get an easy win. Now you can't do that. Now you can pick your target on night 1. You can't switch unless that target gets killed. But I do like that you have the ability to pick who you get to torment if that person does decide to vote guilty on your target. Executioners don't have a hard time winning the match because people generally push the accused first. You can get away with a Seer will. You can get away with a Psychic will. You can get people pushed very easily. Sheriff will. I would put it in B tier. Is it funner than Doomsayer? I mean, it does depend on the game. At least as an execution, I'm not worried about turning into a potato. Next up, we've got the Famine. Famine is also another role which makes people freak the hell out. People will drop things and come after the Famine because it means a nuke is about to happen and only 3 people with bread are going to survive. Doesn't make people freak out as much as death. And there are times where keeping the Famine alive is maybe beneficial, like if you're certain that you have bread. The Famine's got to be an S+. Because again, it's not as good as death, but people freak the hell out when a Famine pops out. So I got to put it in S+. Individually, as a role, very powerful. And by the way, these should be an S+, because they're neutral apocalypse for crying out loud. Next up, we got the Hexmaster. And the Hexmaster is not as strong as Town of Salem 1. You can't make people look suspicious as a Hexmaster anymore. And you need to be alive when you hex the final person for the hex bomb to go off. For example, if I try to hex someone, but a vigilante shoots me, and it was just 1 person left, the hex bomb will not go off. If you do have a team of 4 Coven, it's going to take a lot of people by surprise when that nuke goes off. People get lured into a false sense of security. Pair this with a Conjuror or a Ritualist. Damn, dude. Like, it is strong. It's either going to be an A or B. I'd maybe put it in B tier. Hexmaster on its own sucks. Like, by yourself, you suck. And there are some team comps where Hexmaster's not going to be that good, but there are some where Hexmaster's going to be great. So I'll put it in B tier because it averages out, and it's not really the funnest role. Next, we've got the Illusionist. Now, the Illusionist has the ability to make people not look suspicious. And another thing it can do, which is very insane, is if you illusion the Coven killing, they will not trigger any traps or bodyguards on their target. And that can cause a whole lot of chaos. Because people will instantly pop out and be like, hey, I thought you were BG. Why didn't you save X? Why didn't you save Y? Why did the trap not go off? You're fake. You can very easily you can get people pushed. But also, if you're a Psychic, an Illusionist can fool you so badly. And again, it's damn near impossible to counter this when it happens. Same with the Seer. The Illusionist can make a Coven look like a friend to a townie. The Illusionist can make the goodwill of a psychic confirm a Covener's good. And it's just insane. I've been on the receiving end of it, and it's insane. Like, you genuinely feel like you go, wow, how could we have played this better? Because no one's going to think an Illusionist messed us up in the heat of the moment. You know, like on day 3, are people going to think, hey, there's an Illusionist? But hey, you got to keep it in the back of your mind, I guess. Now you got to keep it in the back of your mind. I would say it's probably in B tier as well. Maybe not as strong as Enchanter, but you know, again, sometimes it is. Illusionist is not my first choice on a team. Like, my star lineup does not have Illusionist on it. But sometimes a Hexmaster might show up in my star lineup. So it's probably going to go a little lower. Plus, it's not really, in my opinion, the funnest role to play. Next up, we've got the Investigator. The Investigator is the Coroner, but stronger. You can find blood on people. Blood appears on someone if they've been attacking, and the blood will stay on someone for 2 days. It's really good, because if a game has serial killers and shrouds and all sorts of stuff in it, you can find blood. That's what you need. You can very easily get someone pushed. I would put it probably in C tier. Next, we've got the Jailor. Jailor is actually a lot harder to play in Town of Salem 2 than 1, because you can't re-jail the same person twice. There is very little reason to even jail someone on night 1. All you do is let the cover know that you exist. You can't execute the person. You can't re-jail the person if you think they're suspicious. So why even jail night 1? If you execute the wrong person, you lose your ability to jail people. You got to be very careful. You're still very strong. Don't get me wrong. You're powerful. It's harder to play. I still have to put it either at the top of S or S+, maybe S, because it heavily influences the way people play, but you're just a lot easier to knock out. Like the Ritualist, if they figure out who you are, you're done. If you claim town power, the Conjuror gets you, you're done. Jailor does not feel as strong as it used to be. They don't scare me in this game anymore. Next, we've got the Jester. I am biased. Jester is my favorite role of the game. It is stronger than it used to be. It used to suck when you made a pretty sick play as a Jester but failed to get lynched and then got killed the next night. Now you can make some plays where you intentionally try to get yourself attacked best and then get pushed by the Coven and then win. There's a lot more security. It's good because the Jester can get killed by a deputy for being an idiot, but it balances out because now you got a vest for nighttime. Actually, you know, I'll put it in A tier. Even putting in S feels wrong because, you know, it's not as strong as a deputy. However, I am biased. Next, we've got the Jinx. The Jinx is actually very, very, very strong. The Jinx does feel better than the Ambusher. Hard to put your finger on why, but it does. Now, make no mistake, if you hit an immune, they're probably going to out you. But if you manage to be low-key, and if you manage to kill the right people at the right times, you're going to be very, very powerful. It's just that you can't deal with immunes. And I don't think Jinx would be on my star lineup either. It's better than Illusionist. Quite often. Is it better than the Hexmaster? Individually, it is. Like, if you're not on the best team, you'd still prefer a Jinx than a Hex. So, again, I'll put it in B side to side. It depends on the team comp. There are times having the Jinx is better. There are times having the Hexmaster is better. Next up, we've got the Lookout. Lookout is super, super powerful. A very strong tan investigative role. You have astral visits, which means a Crusader can't kill you. A werewolf can't kill you. And you can see all the people who visited your target. However, the one thing about the Lookout is, anytime someone claims Lookout or Tracker, everyone instantly thinks in the back of their mind, hey, this could be a Wildling. Because Wildlings often claim Lookout or Tracker. A tier. Might even belong higher, but Lookout is not very fun to play. Who's kidding who? Next up, we've got the Mayor. Mayor is really great because now they can whisper people during the day, which, by the way, I wonder if that will get changed eventually. Because I'm telling you, the Maylord meta will return, where the Mayor pops out instantly and then starts taking down claims. The thing is, you can die to the Conjurer now if you do that, and you can get sniped by the Ritualist immediately. I would probably put it in S. Next, we've got the Medusa. This role is basically the Janitor from TOS 1. It's a decent role. Sometimes it can be really good, sometimes it can be really bad. Would I rather have an Enchanter or a Medusa on my team? I think I'd rather have the Enchanter. Honestly, who's kidding who? Probably even the Illusionist. Next up, we've got the Monarch. Monarch has the ability to knight people and give them a vote, and also give yourself protection once you've done that. You get basic defense. The whole thing about Monarch is, if you knight the wrong person, you are in trouble. Because you can give votes to the wrong people. You can give it to the enemy. But if you give it to the right people, you're going to be dominating most likely. Is it stronger than the Mayor? There are times it is because you've got protection, you've got basic defense. And there are times it isn't. But I would say Monarch overall has more potential than a Mayor does. You can start Monarching from night one, although it's a gamble. And then Evils might have trouble removing you from the match. You might become a pain in their side. And they're going to have to start prioritizing the people with the votes. So I'll put it in S. It's a good roll. Really good. Next, we've got the Necromancer. Dude, Necromancer is freaking strong. You can do a lot of things. I heard that you can even use the Famine as the Necromancer and get everyone killed who doesn't have bread, which is sick. There's a lot of roles that you can use. Even the Monarch. You could use the Monarch, dude. And some of my best games have been Necromancer games. It's just a very fun role. Very strong role. There are times where the graveyard sucks and there's not much you can do. But I feel like in this game, compared to 1, the graveyard just has more useful things in it in general. You know, in TOS 1, it'd be like 30% of the time, maybe you could use a little something, right? But in this game, it's like 70% of the time. There's at least something. I would put it in S. Next, we've got the Pestilence. Pestilence is not as strong as Death and Famine, but it's still really strong. Like when the Pestilence comes out, people freak out. They still freak. I would put it in S tier somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it's stronger than a Necromancer. But, you know, a Mayor probably has more impact than a Pestilence. Who's kidding? Who? A Monarch's got more impact. A Deputy will have more impact on the day they shoot. The Conjuror will. Like, they scare people. The Coven Leader is going to be having impact the whole game. Whereas the Pestilence is just going to come out. And yeah, they can kill multiple people. But everyone's going to stay home anyway. So, I would just put it in S. Fire is very fun to play. But it does suck that now you leave the game instead of staying and causing chaos. There's not much to say about this role. I would put it in maybe A. I mean, it's funner than Doomsayer. Who's kidding who? Plaguebearer belongs in F because it's half a roll and it's like the baker. You just visit and do nothing. Poisoner is strong. One thing I don't like about the Poisoner is that you get the book quite early. And there are times where you just don't want the Poisoner to have the book. There are times where it's beneficial. Like the Poisoner directly counters the Veteran and you just roll block him and kill him. But there are times where, yeah, you would prefer someone else gets roll blocked while the Coven kills someone else. Roll blocking is powerful in this game, so it has to be a minimum. Potion Master, also a fantastic role. Scares the crap out of me when I'm on neutral killing and neutral apocalypse, even neutral evil. Because they can reveal your role and then all of the Coven get to see it. All of the Coven get to see your role. Just right there in front of the screen. You're just exposed. You can heal people perpetually too, which is insane. It's just a great role. And I don't think it even gets the book that early either. So you're going to be useful for quite a while. Having a Potion Master on your team is great. Maybe not on the star lineup, but even then, sometimes you do want the PM on your team all the time. So I'd put it right here. Next, we've got the Prosecutor. Originally, I had the Prosecutor in S+. Prosecutor does not go in S+. Because you've got two options with the role. Either you use it on someone who town is not voting and you need to be lynched, like a deputy, right? But you don't have the security of doing it as easily as the deputy because it could be a Jester. And it also ends the day. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't want the day to end. At least with the deputy, you can shoot someone immediately and then town can lynch someone as well. But the prosecutor just ends the day. So I find myself a lot of the times, if town is winning, never using my role. I just never use it. If town is winning, you don't want to use your role as a prosecutor, which means you're only going to use it if town is losing or if it's close. Now, the game, a lot of the times, is not close. A lot of the times, it's going one way or another. If you do have to come out early because town is losing, you're probably going to lose the game anyway. So it's a very niche role that really comes into play when, you know, it's very competitive and close. Like there's 6 votes on someone and 5 votes on another person and evils are pushing and town is pushing. And then the prosecutor just comes out and ends it all. You know what I mean? And then town's got majority and everything's obvious. But a lot of the times, if I was a prosecutor, I would just stay hidden for as long as possible so that it gets to a 1v1 scenario or a 2v1 scenario maybe, and then I just prosecute the final person to win. Like that's what it feels like I got to do with pros now. It is not S+. I would put it below deputy for sure. But, you know, it's still S because, you know, you do have the ability to just pop out and shenanigans. Next up, we've got the Psychic. The Psychic is extremely powerful. It is the second best town investigative in the game. Not as good as Seer, but Psychic is still great. You dictate the flow of the game. Even if you're fake and you're claiming psychic, you dictate the flow. Because if you come out and you're like one of the only town investigatives, people are going to follow your will. You're going to be taking down some claims. You're going to be getting some rolls. You're going to be gathering info. And someone is probably going to get lynched and is probably going to be evil. Not to mention, the psychic can very easily visit a confirmed townie. And then instead of it being a 1 in 3 chance that the person's evil, it's a 1 in 2. Super powerful role. Probably A tier. Next, we got the Retributionist. A very powerful role. Retributionist is great in this because the corpse doesn't rot. You can use a Cleric forever. You can use a Vigilante's multiple bullets if they've had some left in the chamber. You can use a Trapper's Traps. Like, that's insane that you can do that. You can use the Monarch too. It's just a great role. Like, it's so strong. You can't use defense on yourself, but you can use defense on your teammates. That's one good thing about the Necromancer now. You can use defense on yourself. Retributions cannot. So I would have to put it in A tier somewhere. I mean, it's just a really great role. Next, we've got the Ritualist. Ritualist is extremely powerful. It is one of the main reasons that everyone shuts the hell up and doesn't claim their role directly. It is the reason people say vote for alignment and not vote for role. Because people don't want to get sniped. Maybe I should put Doomsayer higher because of that too, because in terms of power levels, that's one reason people shut the hell up. Even when the Ritualist is dead, they go, oh, but the Doomsayer. But again, Doomsayer in terms of fun is you know, not that fun. For me, at least. Ritualist goes up high. It goes hard. I'm going to have to put it right here. If it's not damn near S, it probably does go in S. In literally every single game, the mere thought of the Ritualist makes people vote for alignment instead of vote for role. It makes fake claiming is evil so much easier. What are you? I'm town protect. What are you? I'm town killing. What are you? I'm town support. And then you can just think of what you need to think of later. That's Ritualist. Even with the nerfs, it's still strong. Next, we got the Seer. Seer belongs in S+2. You want to know why? Because Seer for sure dictates the flow of gameplay harder than any other role in the game. If there is a Seer in the game, it changes the match so much. Day 2 Seer pops out and says, this person and this person are enemies. Someone's getting lynched. It's going to be someone. Someone's getting shot by the deputy. Something's going to happen. Seer pops out and says, such and such are friends. Instantly, people start thinking a particular way. No other role has that much impact. It goes higher than Death and Famine and Ritualist, because Death will come out later in the game. Famine will come out later in the game. Seer is there from the beginning. And then you become a target to literally every single neutral killing and coven in the game. Seer is S+, and anyone who's played this game enough knows that Seer is freaking strong. Next up, we've got the Serial Killer. The Serial Killer is really great in this game. Surprisingly good. You know, you think of the original game and you go, damn, Serial Killer sucks. Like, it sucks. Like, yeah, you have the ability to kill every night, but it's trash. You can't kill immunes. They used to be the weakest neutral killing in people's eyes. You know, you can't kill the other neutral killings. You always lose. But because the Serial Killer's got bloodlust, they're freaking scary, dude. You can just rampage through people. The neutral apocalypses are afraid. The Coven is afraid. The other neutral killings are afraid. Just think about it. Like, the freaking werewolf gets scared of the Serial Killer now. That never used to happen. Serial Killer might actually be the strongest neutral killing role in the game. Above Shroud, above Arsonist, above Werewolf. Just because of its speed. It is the quickest. And in this game, speed is key. Every neutral killing, don't get me wrong, is on the back foot. You play the game, it's heavily luck reliant. It helps a lot if you have teammates. It helps a lot if there are bigger threats than you. Like if Death pops out, then people have to go for Death, then you can squeeze through. But Serial Killer is the one you want to be. They're just really great. I would even put it above Arsonist, because again, in this game, speed is the key. Games are not as slow as they used to be. Next, we've got the Sheriff. Sheriff is just a solid role. You're basically the Coven Hunter and the neutral evil hunter. You can't find the neutral killings or the neutral apocalypse. You can't find the Coven with the book, so you can get thrown off sometimes. But it is a solid role. If it finds an evil, people are going to follow that push. I would have to just put it in B tier. Like, it's freaking Sheriff, dude. Next, we got the Shroud. Now, Shroud I really love the windscreen. The windscreen is so freaking good, dude. But it's weak. In the early game, it might actually be the strongest neutral killing because you can get double kills left, right, and center. You can start double killing from night one. But late game, Shroud always falls short. The reason why it falls short is because you don't have the ability to kill immune rolls, which means that eventually a stronger neutral killing is going to finish you. You're going to lose. Neutral Apocalypse is going to finish you. So Shroud, I would say good in the early game. You can get the tempo, you can get the speed. If there's a couple of you, you're looking really good. Like 2 Shrouds is a different story. You know what I mean? Like double Werewolf is not that good for the Werewolf, but double Shroud is really good for the Shroud. It's not as good as Arsonist. It's not as good as Serial Killer. It can't be. It's not. But I do enjoy it. It would have to be in B tier. And to be honest, not even that high in B tier. It's got to be kind of low. Probably right here. Probably ahead of Doomsayer because... not even. Next, we got the Soul Collector. Soul Collector on its own doesn't do shit. So it's F. However, you can become Death by day 4 very easily in this game. But again, Soul Collector individually is F. Next up, we've got the Spy. Spy is a surprisingly fun role to play. I love the fact that you can just bug left, right, and center and just scout. You've turned into a scout. It's cool now. Spy sucked originally because you could only bug one person at night. And then, if nothing happened to them that night, no further info. Now you can just throw bugs everywhere. And if it gets triggered, then you've got some info. Very chill role to play. It's not the strongest town investigative, but you directly counter Illusionists and other particular Coven roles. It does fill in a niche. Now, would I rather have a Spy or a Lookout in my game? I would rather have a Lookout and a Psychic. Who's kidding who? But Spy is still really, really fun. And I would still put it right here. Next, we've got the Tavern Keeper. The Tavern Keeper is a Tavern Keeper. You can role block people, but you can't role block them 2 nights in a row. You have the ability to stop the Coven from killing. You can interfere with the neutral Apocalypse. You can interfere with some of the neutral killings, namely the Shroud. You can stop the Doomsayer from dooming. You can stop the Ritualist from ritualisting. But Tavern Keeper is not very fun. You also get targeted heavily. I'd have to put it in B tier somewhere. I'm going to have to put it here. Here. It's Tavern Keeper. It's not that fun. Tracker is still a really good role. Would I rather have a Tracker or a Sheriff on my team? I mean, it depends. Probably a Sheriff. Because, if you're a Tracker and you track someone, let's say you track a Coven, they can just be like, yeah, I'm Town Protector. I went to this person. But if a Sheriff finds a Coven, then they're kind of toast. Although Tracker can find the neutral killings and the Sheriff cannot, I would still prefer a Sheriff on my team because I think they're more solid overall. I'd put the Tracker right here. Next, we've got the Trapper. Trapper is exactly the same as it used to be, but now it gets countered by the Illusionist. You're not just a Town Protect, you're a bit of a Town Investigative too. Is it better than Cleric Investigator? I mean, I enjoy it. I don't like that you have to build night 1. I'm going to have to put it in C tier. If not D tier, because it's kind of lame. Trickster. What to say about Trickster? They've reworked this role. You don't redirect people anymore. Now, if you trick someone, you force them to attack you, regardless of whether or not they chose to attack that night. They will attack you. They will kill you. And then you will deal a powerful attack back to them and kill them. You're sort of like the inverse Bodyguard. Trickster actually sucks. This role has to be changed again. It is by far my most hated role in the entire game. It is trash. Everyone hates this damn role. I have a huge hatred towards it. I've had games where I've been trickstered on night 2 randomly and I'm just dead. It's happened to me on night 1. I've had games where I've been outed by a different faction. Like I was Shroud and a Potion Master outed me and said that I'm Shroud as they were getting lynched. And in that night, regardless of what I chose to do, that Trickster would kill me. And they did. It's just not fun. It's not a fun role. It's an anti-fun role. It has to be changed. And I think everyone agrees, except for the weirdos out there. The Vampire. Now, I can't really comment on the Vampire because it only belongs in Dracula's Palace mode. It does not go into other modes. So, and I've only played Dracula's Palace a few times. Can't judge this. I might have to leave it on the list. I don't know. I don't even know how good vampires are in Dracula's Palace mode. So I'll put it in C tier, but whatever. Next, we've got the Veteran. Veteran is still strong, but it's not as strong as it used to be. Because you can get role blocked. And getting role blocked is devastating when you're the Veteran. It's still a great role. Like, you can still bait people and do those shenanigans. I just feel like Veterans don't get as many kills as they used to. You know, like, when this game came out and we found out Veteran wasn't going to be unique, in my mind, I was like, damn, that's going to be chaos. Like, dude, more than one Veteran? Like, one Veteran used to be, like, that alone used to get so many kills. Now we're going to have like 2 or 3 of them in a match. But I don't see veterans messing things up that badly. It's kind of weird. It's weird. I don't know why. Comment below why you think that's the case. Maybe it's just my games, but I don't see like big kills happening because of multiple veterans. I see maybe 1 or 2 people die to a veteran and then like never again. Maybe one more time. It just feels like it feels weaker. It shouldn't feel weaker, but the role, the presence of the role feels weaker. Hard to put my finger on why though. I want your opinions on this, so comment this one. I'm going to have to put it in. It still has to go in A because it's a veteran, but like, you know, do I get scared of veterans in this game? I don't even get scared of veterans. Like there's Necromancers, there's Hexmasters, Ritualists. That's what it is. It's because of that type of stuff. I'm going to have to put it in A, but it's can't, you know, it's not going to be like maybe in front of the Lookout. But dude, there are times I much prefer the Lookout like over any of this stuff. Next, we got the Vigilante. Vigilante is one of my favorite roles to play. If you couldn't tell, I'm always scrolling it. The one thing that sucks about it is you can't kill immunes. And when you shoot an immune, you don't want to come out and say, I shot an immune all the time because a Ritualist, maybe your Dows, like it's weird. Usually I used to have Vigilante and Veteran in the same spot, but I don't think that's really the case anymore. Vigilantes are just more useful. Like I like picking off the Coven and the neutral evils. The Veteran can't really do that as well. Maybe I put it in A tier. It's actually comparable to Deputy. Because again, Deputy can pop out and kill one person and then they're insta-confirmed, but then they're a potato. But the Vigilante can very easily get confirmed. They can't kill immunes, but they get 3 bullets. So there are times where you want the Deputy on your team, but sometimes you want the Vigilante on your team. I think I prefer being the Vigi, so I'm going to put Vigi higher. Feel free to disagree with me on this one. This one is a bit of a contentious one. This is a tough one. Next, we've got the Voodoo Master. The Voodoo Master is insanely strong. It is such a strong role. And it's because you not only silence someone, but you can stop them from voting. And I don't think people have quite yet understood how insane that actually is. You know how many times you think things are going well, but then you get silenced and it's like, wow, I can't even vote. Like, I am finished. And town loses because of that. You know how many times there's 4 Coven against 5 townies and you, like, you know, towns still thinks they've got a grip on the game, but one of them is silenced and they can't vote, and now it's a stalemate and now you lose. Voodoo Master is really good, especially in conjunction with the Dreamweaver, which now you can silence people and drive them insane too. So I'm going to have to put this very high. I like having the Voodoo Master on my team. It's not my, again, it's maybe not my star lineup, but it's got to be high, dude. Like, it's got to be high. Next up, we've got the War. War is a bit of a disappointing role. It is a neutral apocalypse role. You'd think people would be afraid of it, but really, it's not that scary. Like, I mean, even the Pestilence scares me more than War. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I should be more afraid of War, but I'm not. So War apparently is not even rollblock immune. You can rollblock the War and stop them, which is crazy. But one advantage War has over Pestilence is that if there is a town protect chain going on, the War can break through it, whereas the Pestilence cannot. Now, if the Pestilence gets rollblocked, they will kill the rollblocker. So, dude, War is just not that good. It's really not that good. It's low. Like, it's low. I'm gonna have to put it down. Even Pestilence. I know people are gonna bum rush the Pest, but dude, War just doesn't scare you. It doesn't have that same flair as this. Next up, we've got the Werewolf. Werewolf is great in this game. I like that there can be more than one of them now. Double Werewolf is scary, but the Werewolves even have to be afraid because you can rampage into each other. Werewolf is not as strong as a serial killer, but it is stronger than Arsonist in this game, I'd probably say. Just because of the speed. Even though you can't kill Night 1 and Night 3, you're still quicker in the late game. Wildling is a very powerful role. You can read whispers, and you can see where one particular target went and who visited that person. So you can easily fake lookout, and just reading all the whispers is so much info. Wildling has to be an S tier. You do want a Wildling on your team. Next, we've got a Witch. Witch is super powerful too. You want Witch on your lineup as well. I'm going to put it in S tier. Now, you might be curious as to what my star Coven lineup is. And it is as follows. You need a Coven leader and a Ritualist on your team. Those two have to exist. Now, the rest of it is subjective, but I would prefer the Conjuror on my team. The Coven leader, Ritualist, Conjuror. That's really strong. And then maybe the Hexmaster on top. But if not the Hexmaster, the Potion Master. The only reason Necromancer goes here is because the Necromancer is just a cooler role. And it can be really fun using immune rolls. And you know what? Sometimes you do want the Necromancer. Because imagine, Coven Leader gets a kill, Ritualist gets a kill, Conjuror gets a kill during the day, and then the Necromancer can also kill at night. You can get triples, dude. You can get damn near triples with that lineup. Just brute force, all aggressive, all attack. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my tier list. This is what the old one looked like. Subscribe for more. And I will see you in the next one.